Hold my breath too long there. Coming to you live from Bandai, a town located in the Fukushima Prefecture, Japan. As of 1st March 2018, the town had an estimated population of 3,533 and 1,195 households and a population density of 60.3 persons per square kilometer. We're here today with ESL Open Cup Asia Division number 175. I am, of course, your host, Yaku of the Zaku, and with me today is El que demanda e definitivamente sabe lo que hace, Light _VIP. How we doing, Light?
What's up, Yaku? It is great to be back here once again for our second week in a row where ESL Asia is, of course, on Mondays, not Sundays. So we have our new time slot here, and we have plenty of amazing players before us. Yaku, it's great to be back.
It is great to be back looking at some of these wonderful players. One of them spawning over here in the bottom right-hand corner of the map, spawning all the way in the bottom right-hand corner. We have our red Zerg player coming out from the land of Korea, representing Alpha... Wait, I have to check that, actually. Yeah. Representing Alpha X, we have a player you might know as RebellioN, but otherwise known as RagnaroK.
And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Dragon Scales, we have the South Korean Protoss player representing himself, as he is currently teamless. It is RebellioN.
No, my mistake. Apparently playing from Mystery Gaming is RagnaroK.
Oh, since when? Oh my god, that's crazy.
Since 13th of May, so very recently.
2 days ago.
Yeah, 2 days ago.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Yeah, that's really interesting. So RagnaroK has been on Alpha X for a very, very long time. But if you remember, Alpha X did pull out of WTL. They were one of the teams that technically was invited into this season of WTL, but they declined the invite. They decided not to, I guess, renew the contract for some of their players, and they wouldn't be able to field a roster for WTL. So yeah, I was really curious as to what was going to happen to those players. You know, Zaun is retiring. I was curious what was going to happen with RagnaroK in Australia.
Yeah, that's interesting. I should probably check on Australia as well. I mean, it's good to know that some of our players here are getting picked up by some of the other teams, but yeah, it's kind of unfortunate there. Alpha X, for the longest time, we kind of saw them as kind of a sister team to the CranKy Ducklings. Even back when, before either of us had professional rosters, back when it was Psionic Aftermath.
Yeah, exactly. You know, ourselves and Alpha X go back, way back, as you were saying before they were even branded as Alpha X. So yeah, I hope Australia is able to, you know, I think they are still going to be supporting Australia, so I wish him the best, of course, in the individual leagues. But of course, it's really cool to see RagnaroK is still getting support elsewhere, and now that he's joined, actually, I was going to say that now that he's joined Mystery Gaming, he's going to be able to take part in WTL, but Mystery Gaming aren't a part of WTL. So it's really cool to see that despite the fact that they're not playing in World Team League, they're still investing and they pick RagnaroK up, right?
Yeah, that's going to be a really strong pickup for the next season of WTL and for whatever other team leagues they may participate in. WTL is the biggest, but it's not the only one.
Oh yeah, not the only one. I'm sure they're willing to play in much more than just that. Meanwhile, RagnaroK did go for a Hatchcast full opener. Third base on time is also pretty macro opener. Meanwhile, oh, nice catch here. One of the adepts does get picked up almost for free.
Yeah, only one Ling is going to go down to that. It forces the Pulsar Beam to be activated as well. So overall, pretty good start here for RagnaroK, and see what he does with that.
Yeah, likewise, a standard opener from RebellioN. He did go for a Stargate opener into his third Nexus, as to be expected, but the follow-up is a little bit different here, as he's, of course, having his Oracles back at home to make sure his third base gets up and running, but the follow-up is going to be a Twilight Council and Gateways. No Forge, so I'm not feeling +1 and Blink, I'm feeling Glaives.
Yeah, which may still work out for him. RagnaroK did decide to play safe, did throw down that Roach Warden fairly early on, But as we all know, you don't have to fight roaches when you're going glaive to depths.
Oh, exactly. You can defend with so much more. Regardless, this is designed to catch RagnaroK off guard. This is going up to 5 gateways. I imagine we're going to be getting a 6th gateway as well. This is going to be very committed out of RebellioN. And again, this has become, you know, a little bit popular in recent times. It's been so standard for Stargate openers to go into Blink and Stalkers instead. And this is designed to play with that kind of meta and play with that assumption that some Zerg players can make.
Yeah, a lot of Zerg players who are still of the are still kind of used to playing against the Blink follow-up style, oftentimes going for +1 melee and mass investment into Lings. Not RagnaroK though. RagnaroK has pretty much correctly identified this. I think he notices the amount of adepts that were warped in. He notices that's quite a number of gateways you got here, buddy. There's only one thing that this could there's only one follow-up that this could be.
Yeah, and we can already see roaches in production here. As you were saying, RagnaroK, he saw the warping of adepts, which is really suspect. And because of that, he should be aware of the follow-up. The adepts are racing across the map as we speak. Back at home, though, we already have roaches. RagnaroK was able to sniff this out, and he is going to be able to go toe-to-toe with this army.
Yeah, being very active with them as well, but he doesn't want to overextend. Thankfully, he does get that full wall off, and RebellioN is forced to cancel the shade. Is still trying to find some kind of damage here with his double Oracle. Throws out a Revelation in the end.
Yeah, it looks like he has recognized he can't really find any damage here at all. Throws down the Revelation, has an eye on those Queens, but he's not done with his Glaive Adepts. He's still looking for another opening. Behind this, he's transitioning into Blink. We have Double Forge on the way. Those upgrades are going to be very late. Again, it's so important for RebellioN to find some damage with these Adepts. Otherwise, the opener just wouldn't be worth it.
Yeah, he would be perpetually behind from here on out if he doesn't get some kind of damage done. He's not out of this yet. He is still trying to go for a 4th expansion, and you know, because he got a 3rd relatively early on, he can just pump out probes and try to macro his way out of this situation, but he hasn't found a way to make these adepts really pay for themselves just yet, and that is a big issue.
Yeah, this is a pretty greedy 4th, bearing in mind that RagnaroK is still on 3 bases. So RebellioN, this is his way of coming back. Like, he knows he's behind, so he's like, okay, I'm gonna go for double forge for double upgrades. I'm gonna go for a 4th base as well. I'm gonna see what I can get away with, because I have to get away with something here. But RagnaroK, what he's been lacking in a 4th base, he's been making up for in army supply, and he's pushing out across the map, and he does get eyes on this 4th base.
Yeah, that Stasis Ward unfortunately was not in the right position. Those are kills and not cancels. Stasis Ward does get a mass amount of Lings, but compared to the rest of RagnaroK's army, it really is just small potatoes.
It really is. The Roach army is too much. We do get a cancel, not a kill on the 4th Nexus, but RebellioN is forced back to his 3rd base, and he's got 1 shield battery. He's got a cannon on the way. Like, he is not ready to defend at all.
That was a huge gamble here by RebellioN, just trying to get that 4th base and hoping that RagnaroK would be playing a lot more defensive than he actually was. And in the end, it did not work out for him at all. I love the use of SimCity he's got here, but he's gonna be losing a ton of probes still.
Yeah, RebellioN is trading as efficiently as possible, but there's only so much you can do with as little as he has. Eventually, he's going to be able to clean up these Ravagers he will hold after losing his 4th, after losing workers, after losing quite a lot.
Yeah, I will say that it could have been worse here for RebellioN, but yeah, the damage he sustained is still very, very... what's the word I'm thinking of here, Light? It's still bad. It's the gist of what I'm trying to get at. I guess bad is the word, technically.
It's devastating. It's horrible. He's still in a way crippled, and he's still trying to recover. I think is what you're trying to say here, and he's not quite there yet. RagnaroK thankfully doesn't have the highest drone count, and he did invest a lot of Roach Ravager into that push. So the next push is going to take a little bit longer as RagnaroK is backing up and droning.
Yeah, no need for him to really put his foot on the gas just yet. He knows he's ahead, so he might as well get even further ahead to just secure a lead.
Yeah, exactly. He's working up that drone count. We do see some nice control out of these, or nice positioning out of these Queens, able to pick off one of those Oracles. RebellioN pushing out across that. Very ambitious push. He's kind of puffing up his chest. Charge is not even halfway done. So this army is actually weaker than what it looks like, but RagnaroK is maybe not fully aware of that. He has to be careful.
Yeah, I love it. Rebellion's establishing its dominance, you know? He's puffing himself up, he's making a bunch of noise. It's like, come at me!
He's coming though.
He was coming at him, which wasn't part of the plan, but he manages to keep most of his army alive at least.
I love it. It's honestly pretty necessary, right? Like, you have to make yourself look more intimidating than you are. You have to make sure that RagnaroK backs off here as he does drone up his 4th base. No 5th base yet, and RebellioN is saturating his own force, so his own economy isn't looking too bad here.
Yeah, he is beginning to stabilize quite a bit. RagnaroK does have eyes on that 4th base, but he's a little bit preoccupied with the main army to really try to punish that.
Oh, exactly. But you know what? Charge is now done. The Zealot Runby is going to be hitting this 3rd base here. The main armies are a little bit distracted, but we see a Bathing Runby head towards the 3rd.
And there's a reaction here. RebellioN has not noticed the mini-map. 14 probes go down. Meanwhile, across the map, there is a quicker, much quicker reaction here from RagnaroK. He actually doesn't lose any of his drones. Only one of them at that, at most.
Oh my god, and another Bathing Runby here at the 4th base. 20 probes going down in total between the 3rd and the 4th base. At the same time, RebellioN, he wasn't able to push in, he wasn't able to counterattack. The Zealot Runby has been cleaned up, and RagnaroK can focus on the main fight.
Yeah, 20 probes went down for RebellioN, 1 drone went down for RagnaroK, which is all you really need to know about the macro and the economies of both players right now. I still like the mass Stalker army. This is a very low-tech army from RagnaroK with just Roaches and Ravagers, so with good enough control, I think RebellioN can take an engagement and maybe cancel a base with enough momentum, but the sheer numbers from RagnaroK makes it that much more difficult.
Yeah, the other difficult thing is that RebellioN is being outscaled. He got the double forge for 1-1, and he has 1-1, but he hasn't started 2-2, so he doesn't have that much longevity with this army, as RagnaroK is going to skyrocket ahead in those upgrades. Meanwhile, as the armies dance with each other, another Bathing Runby is rushing across the map. It looks like RebellioN has spotted it.
Yeah, it's a body block. Fortunately, he does blink away, giving these Banelings one more opening. Thankfully, RebellioN was quick enough to snipe those Banelings. Meanwhile, in the middle of the map, okay, RagnaroK trades a little bit, but yeah, it's still inconclusive for the time being.
Yeah, another Bathing Runby being set up here on the right-hand side to hit that 4th base. At the same time, RagnaroK has maxed out on Ling, Bane, Roach, Ravager. He's ready for a fight. Still has to respect this army. As you were saying, there's a lot of micro potential here, but as the armies are distracted, there's that Runby. Up!
And if RebellioN wasn't committed before, he is 100% all in now.
Exactly. I mean, he has been able to make a game out of this. You know, he lasted longer than I thought oh my god, than we both thought he would. As the Banelings, they keep going towards that 3rd base.
36 probes versus 81 drones.
No. The economy is in shambles for RebellioN. He is giga all in right now. He has to end the game with what he has. What you see is what you get.
Oh. Yeah, and what I see is actually pretty good. The army supplies are pretty comparable. RagnaroK's army supply is inflated quite a bit by those Roaches. It was a beautiful surround here from RebellioN, and he has the momentum to keep this going.
He really does, but he has to be careful because Roach reinforcements are coming in. RagnaroK, his macro is not slipping here. He may have been hurting a little bit, but as reinforcements come in, he is forcing RebellioN back.
Yeah, and look at that upgrade difference coming in for RagnaroK. It's really making a huge difference, coupled with the fact that he has the defender's advantage, that he is able to reinforce very quickly. RebellioN had one moment, one chance of victory here, but RagnaroK survived long enough that I don't think Rebellion's going to be able to take it.
Yeah, we can see here that even though RebellioN has been trading very efficiently, right, this entire time, what about the economy? You know, the reinforcements are kicking in here for RagnaroK. He's slowly chipping away at this army, and this army from RebellioN, it's not getting any bigger.
Yeah, it's actually getting smaller, funnily enough. Oh! Again, Stasis Ward.
Yeah, Stasis Trap does go off here. It is going to help RebellioN. He's microing his heart out here. He is down to 6 Stalkers. He hasn't been making too many probes behind this either. Like, again, there was a moment there where things were looking kind of scary. RebellioN was out trading. RagnaroK was almost able to break the defenses here, but RagnaroK held strong and he didn't even lose any workers.
Yeah, I have to look at a replay there to see what exactly went on, because, like you said, things were looking really good for Rebellion. He got a full surround on those Roaches and Ravagers. He was able to avoid, I think, most, if not all, of the Ravager Biles, but he wasn't able to win the engagement decisively, and as a result, RagnaroK, since his macro did not slip up one bit, was able to just reinforce those defenses and yeah, get us back to the position we're kind of used to. Rebellion doesn't really have a window anymore.
Yeah, it's one of those things where RagnaroK's win condition was just to defend his base. That's all he had to do was that, and he's been able to do so. Not just defend the base, he was taking up at the same time. Lurker Den is completed. Lunkers are coming out. We have the Hive already done. A 3-3 soon about to be upon us as well. And Rebellion, as we were saying earlier, was just really all in, really committed. And because the push didn't work, it's hard to envision a world here where Rebellion can come back. It was close though.
Yeah, a lot closer than I think a lot of us were expecting.
Mm-hmm.
Especially after his Glaive to Depth push got completely deflected,
Yeah.
after his fourth base got cancelled and denied outright. But you know what? Rebellion, he puffed up his chest. He established some dominance, and he was able to stabilize as a result of that. Unfortunately, it's not going to be enough.
Yeah, the cannon goes down. That was the only form of detection, so the Lunkers are safe and sound. Oh no! As we move forward, GG gets called, and RagnaroK takes game number 1.
Ooh. Yeah. GG. Pretty nicely done.
Yeah, very solid game there out of RagnaroK. It was a rough start for Rebellion, but again, a shout out to Rebellion because he was able to fight back and actually make that game quite competitive overall, despite, I mean, you mentioned, it slipped my mind, the fact that he went for a Glaive Adept follow-up after the Stargate opener, and for it to do no damage. I don't think he got a single drone with that.
He got, yeah, I don't think he actually did. He got, like, one drone with the Chargelet follow-up after that, too, so...
Yeah.
Yeah, Rebellion had some... Rebellion had some pretty nice ideas here of how to try to keep RagnaroK behind. Unfortunately, I think RagnaroK is well practiced against these styles and is just defending really, really solidly so far.
I have to imagine, like, how would the game have gone if Rebellion had gone for a more standard blink and +1 follow-up instead of the Glaives, right? Like, we saw how close things got later on, and if he hadn't kind of been crippled on the way into the mid-game, then maybe he would have been in a better position. Maybe he would have even been able to out-control and out-trade and break RagnaroK. I'm hoping that we get something a little bit more standard here in Game 2. Hoping.
Yeah. Well, we are on Babylon.
We are?
Yeah. Whether that means that we'll get something more standard or not is based on your personality. But anyway, we're going to be continuing our series now on Babylon. We're over here in the top left-hand corner of the map, swatting all the way. In the top left-hand corner, we have our red Zerg player coming out from the land of Korea. Representing Mystery Gaming, we have RagnaroK. The biggest brain Zerg player.
He is. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Babylon, we have the other South Korean player, the South Korean Protoss, currently teamless. It is RebellioN.
You know, for all the hype coming out from Solar recently to be the best Zerg player in Korea, and I think that's definitely very well deserved coming out from him, I have to say, RagnaroK is the one player who can really throw a wrench in those plans.
Yeah, like, you can never count RagnaroK out. You know, he got second place last year in GSL. He beat Cyril in IM Katowice. Like, RagnaroK is just a wild card. Unfortunately, he's not consistent. He's not as consistent as Solar or even Dark. But RagnaroK, his highs are quite high. Like, he can really pop off.
Oh yeah, he gets real high.
That's... God damn it, Yaku. You're being influenced because over the weekend, Skylar showed up and he actually played in the Tenacious Turtle Tussle. Yeah.
Did he?
Yeah.
That's why. I woke up on Sunday like, oh, what is this? What is this strange feeling?
Why do I feel so good, Papi?
Yeah.
Am I high?
Why do I feel so calm? Why are my hands like moving? Why am I worried that the police are gonna come after me?
Why am I paranoid? Aye.
That's probably what would happen.
There you go. Shout out to Skylar, of course, the highest player in all of North America. Or at least the highest Terran player.
That is... Oh, no, he's the highest.
Yeah.
That is not up for debate.
Shaking my head. Unfortunately, he won't be here in ESL Open Cup Asia. He's not on that DGen sleep schedule in the Land of the Americas. But behind this, RebellioN, not what I wanted, but I appreciate it nonetheless, is going to be going for a much more aggressive opener.
Yeah, that is a straight-up Twilight Council. We are not messing about at all with a Stargate, and following it up with this. RebellioN's coming into game number 2, guns a-blazing. Let's see what he has in store. Probably going to be delays, but make a dream.
Oh no! Oh, but the Lings, they get here just in time. They get a surround on the Stalker. Stalker will go down, and the wall is not a wall. RagnaroK, he's going to get a free scout. Not just that, he may just even end the game if he kills the pylon.
I was so hyped about for this game for RebellioN to get into what he wanted to do, but that is not going to pass. RagnaroK, he cancels a pylon. He delays Warp Gate by an insane amount of time. RebellioN was getting a backup pylon, but then realized that he actually misplaced it a little bit, so he was forced to cancel that and build yet another pylon, which is going to further delay this. On top of all that, RagnaroK gets a full scout. He knows he is safe and sound. Oh, well, actually, he gets half a full scout as RebellioN decides to throw around at Dark Shrine.
Yeah, so a lot did just happen there. RebellioN, unfortunately, his Stalker was out of position. We saw it came out, but it wasn't a part of the wall in the end. RagnaroK abused that so well, dealt so much damage, and the delay on this Warp Gate is so impactful just because it is a Twilight Council opener. Every second that is delayed is going to be that much more time that RagnaroK has to defend, and he has to be aware of the possibilities, right? He knows that it most likely is Glaives, but it could be a charge all-in, it could be DTs. The Overlord is going to confirm the third base, so he knows it's not a 2-base all-in, but he's still working with incomplete information.
Yeah, I mean, right now, if you're RagnaroK, there we go, the Spore Crawlers get thrown down. I was waiting for a sec, because there's always that possibility where after such a great opening like that, where everything went your way, you just kind of focus, you just kind of tunnel vision a little bit and think, how do I end the game from here? Instead of thinking, okay, what can my opponent do to come back? But RagnaroK is the biggest brain Zerg player for a reason. He already recognized that DTs were a possibility, and now he will confirm it with this Ling follow-up. Spore Crawlers finish up back at home and give him plenty of detection.
Yeah, and I don't blame RebellioN for warping in defensively back at home with the DT, because he's only working with 2 gateways. Like, and Warp Gate was delayed, of course. Like, he's just so behind in so many ways that he had to reveal that DT to hold onto his third base, because if he did lose the third, then that would be the end of the game. So RebellioN just doing what he can to survive, and this also means that he can't counterattack here. As you were saying, the DTs, RagnaroK is aware of them.
Yeah. I mean, RebellioN just didn't have any good options, really, once those Lings hit. It was either warp in DTs back at home and, survive, but have those DTs revealed and allow RagnaroK to prepare a defense back at home, or warp in Adepts back at home and even further delay the DT harass. So, and potentially lose the third base as well.
Yeah. Exactly, because there's no shield battery here, and as the Adepts warp in, like, they would be attacked by the Lings as well. It's just all because of our lack of gateways, because we didn't have the production to do both at once, or the economy. It just was a really rough start here for RebellioN. Meanwhile, speaking of gateways, he's going for a mass gateway explosion, and he is doubling down on the DTs.
Yeah, Shadow Strike, DT Blink is about to finish up in a couple of seconds here. RagnaroK, on the other hand, feels so safe and confident that he's throwing down the Infestation Pit before the 6-minute mark.
Infestation bit is on the way. This could even be for Swarm Host. We do have a proxy gateway on the right-hand side as well, so RebellioN does have the option to warp in across the map and try to harass some of these bases. And what's important is that these 4 DTs have a lot of DPS. With Blink, it doesn't matter if you have a Spore, they can dive on top of it, they can focus it down and wreak havoc from there.
Yeah, which is why it's so important that there is this Overseer here in position. I'm liking this from RebellioN. He actually warps in a couple of Stalkers across the map. Ideally, they're going to be able to distract the main army of RagnaroK or DCTs. Act as a bit of a distraction, but the reality of the situation is RagnaroK was pumping out units this entire time and can easily defend on 2 fronts.
Yeah, exactly. RagnaroK, he's chasing down these DTs, trying to get us around at the same time. Does overextend a little bit, and RagnaroK is going to be losing some of these roaches. Or even the Overseer gets focused down, so RebellioN may be a little bit aware that, hey, if there is no detection, maybe the DTs can do more damage.
Well, if the DTs ever get across the map, because right now RagnaroK is defending back home while also chasing these DTs all the way back into Rebellion's side. Did all of them go? All the DTs went down, yep.
Yeah, all 4 were chased down. 2 Overseers were sniped, but we have a 3rd one being made here. So again, RagnaroK is aware about what RebellioN is doing. He's aware that the detection is going to be quite important, and he is looking to hold on to his 4th base. Yep. But RagnaroK isn't droning. He droned up to 66, and that is it. He's going to be going for a 66 drone Roach Ravager Ling, basically all in.
What was the infestation pit for then?
mate, you don't ask questions here before what RagnaroK does, okay? He's got the biggest reign in Korea. It's we can't comprehend, mate. We can't.
True. Yeah, any question you might have for RagnaroK is guaranteed to be the wrong question. Because he is thinking on just a different plane, a different dimension of existence than the rest of us plebes.
Yeah, exactly. And with that, he does bow down the 3rd base, knocking RebellioN down to only 3 base economy. We do see his Roach Ling army defending back at home. And again, RagnaroK, he's focusing on nothing but army production. We can see the Overseer gets sniped, but there's another. Oh,
but it gets sniped. Oh, but there's another. Oh, but it doesn't get sniped. Tell us hoping it would. But it doesn't in the end. GG is called, and RagnaroK will take a very solid 2-0 victory. Man. And I mean, I knew he was the favorite coming into this series, but I didn't think it would look that one-sided, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, that was a really good showing from RagnaroK, and I think sometimes it can be a little bit surprising how well he can perform because he doesn't show up quite often in these ESL Asia Cups, right? He shows up like once a month or once every 3 weeks. Like, he isn't here every week like Dark, for example, or even Solar, who signs up a little bit more consistently. So sometimes it can be difficult to kind of gauge the skill level of RagnaroK, especially because, I didn't want to bring it up, but this season of GSL, RagnaroK didn't get out of Code A. He didn't even qualify for Code S, but he's still an amazing player, and we can see that here with that dominating performance.
Yeah. Taking out RebellioN in very quick fashion, but now he has a different opponent from a very different race, who is... Wait, what? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I misread that. I misread that a little bit. Yes, a very different player from a very different race, who honestly is kind of the mirror of RagnaroK, the Terran RagnaroK, if you will. He's going up against Gumiho.
True. Oh my god. Jesus. Gumiho he's excited. I messaged him, I was like, yo, we'll cast you versus RagnaroK, and then in all caps he's like, I got it. Oh my god. Oh, I'm sorry, Gumiho. Oh my god.
Jesus. Get off his back, you know? He knows.
He's like, mate, I'm trying to do my vetoes right now, right? Give me some space. Yeah. I'm like, oh, okay, Gumiho, okay. So it's all good. But as you were saying, we do have our next matchup before us. A shout out to RebellioN. He has been competing for a long time. He's always been like an up-and-comer in the scene, in the Korean scene, and didn't look too bad here. Again, game 2 was rough, but game 1 was pretty impressive. Like, I was very impressed with what he was able to do despite the whole situation.
Yeah, if not for that one Stalker rally, you know, popping out outside of the wall instead of inside of the wall.
Yeah.
And I really think we would have had a much longer game here on Babylon. It's just so unfortunate that that RebellioN wasn't really able to play out the game that he had planned. But that's also why it's really important to be careful and, you know, to always make sure that you're aware of your rallies, that when you're going for a build like this, when you're going for something that when you're going for a build that's meant to hit as fast and as hard as possible, you can't afford to slip up even once.
Oh yeah, you just can't afford to, and that's kind of the level of StarCraft that we're up to right now, you know, like against these GSL Codes level players, you can't afford to slip up in that way.
I mean,
technically, RagnaroK isn't in Codes right now, sure, but
anymore, yeah. But you know what? The season before that,
yeah,
he was in the finals.
He was.
Yeah.
How did he not just get seeded in? What happened? But yeah, regardless, we do have our next series upon us shortly once the vetoes are concluded, and this is going to be an interesting one. RagnaroK, he's a very peculiar player, as you were saying. You know, we saw him throw down an infestation pit and not even use it.
I guess he realized he didn't need to utilize it after a while.
Very true, very true. He was maybe looking for an opening if need be. But he's a very aggressive player. Likewise, Gumiho is also one of the more, if not the most, eccentric and aggressive South Korean Terrans.
Oh yeah, with